Oh, hello. Greetings, Reclaimers. I am 343 Guilty Spark, monitor of Podcast Evolved. Protocol dictates that you must listen. Come, we have a wealth of knowledge to share with you, and you don't want to make my blue eye red. Do you, Reclaimers?
Welcome, Spartans, to Podcast Evolved, your home for Halo. I'm your host today, David, and with me is Krysta.
Hello.
Oran.
What's up, chat?
And Aaron.
Hi, guys.
There we go. We have a live show today, if you haven't noticed. So, there live people will know, other people will not know.
People are alive on the show.
There's live stuff happening, so that happens in Discord. So if you've never done it before, go check out our Discord. It's a crazy place. It scares me. I go there sometimes, maybe like once a month, and for our live shows. And anyway, just thank you all for being there, because that's where a lot of our patrons and stuff exist. Today in our live show, while the show is live, the news is not. So like everybody pretty much knows what we're going to be talking about today, but we've never really addressed it as of yet, just of how our recording schedule goes. So we thought we would bump up what we're going to do today and bring out a live show instead. So we're going to cover Halo Infinite's delay, the rumors all around 343, and some Podcast Evolved highlights. So just before we get started, I want to see some of our usual kind of housekeeping stuff. So please go check out our website. It's still awesome. It always is. It's halopodcastevolved.com or halopodcast.com. Ian puts a lot of work in there, so please go check it out. It's got everything, all of our old shows, all of our old episodes, I should say. Links to like everything we do. There's some Halo history stuff in there. It has some of our other shows, such as Mission Debrief, which is obviously a dive into Halo's campaign, mission by mission. We have the Halo book clubs, all of our kind of extended lore, media, novels, comics, and books and stuff like that we discuss. We have our newest show, which is Builds with Blocks. That's centered over as well. It's all about the micro action figures and brick-based construction sets in the Halo universe. We have a Patreon page, patreon.com/Halo Podcast Evolved. So obviously there's exclusive rewards over there for our patrons, like early episodes, swag, all this kind of stuff. We would like to take this moment also to thank everybody. So thank you all for our support. You guys have been incredible. We are continuously struggling to come up with new tiers and new ways of stuff, because we keep meeting our goals way quicker than we actually anticipate. So thank you all so much. You guys have been amazing. And even with the year that's in it, we are flying ahead, really, which is pretty great. Finally, I'd like to encourage our listeners who want to listen to and kind of support us. You can do so through Audible. So you can listen to the growing collection of Halo novels there, all in one place, with thousands of other novels, podcasts, guided wellness programs. Audible does a whole lot of stuff. So if you would like to and you're interested too, there's a URL that will help support us. It's audibletrial.com/podcast evolved. And you can kind of go check that out. Now that all the housekeeping stuffs are done, we are going to talk to each other, because that's what we do on the show.
What?
Yeah, I know. Well, Krysta, you spoke up first there, so you get to go first. Krysta Brown, tell me your Halo news of the last week, and including your streaming success stories and emotes.
I have obtained the legendary mark on Halo CE and also Halo 2.
You're soloing it?
Yeah, legendary solo. So I'm on Halo 3 now. Halo 2 made me want to leave my body and ascend. The Jackal snipers really make it an amazing experience. So much fun. I love it. I love Halo so much.
It's done now, Krysta. It can't get you anymore. You never have to do it again.
I never have to do it again. And now I'm doing Halo 3, which is way easier. We're getting through it way quicker. So that's fun. I stream pretty often. Right now it's Halo, but later it will be something else other than Halo, because I was just doing 1, 2, and 3. So once 3's over, I'm not sure what's going on. Twitch.tv/ConanXD_.
Nice.
That's about it, other than, like, reading and screaming at the camera. That's about all I'm doing right now.
No plans for Lasso?
Shut up. Leave me alone.
Yeah, there you go. See, even Chris is done with lassos. Oran the man. We haven't spoken some time since our previous recording, shall we say. What you been up to, buddy?
So I've actually been playing quite a bit of Halo. When the update came out a couple weeks ago for Halo 3, or like when Halo 3 came to PC and they had the big update, I jumped back into it, mopping up some achievements. I had almost all of the score achievements still yet to get in CE, so I got all of those. The mall was actually pretty entertaining because the score counts down after you pass the part-time, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to get it. But then the score stopped declining because I then reached another time threshold, but I was able to still splatter a few more elites, and that brought me just over the score threshold. And so all I had to do was just not die in the literal run at the end, and I got it. It was very epic. And then I also did Halo Reach. I had a few more times in scores from Halo Reach, so I did that. I have like 55 more achievements. It's crazy.
So you're gonna do all the lassos next, huh?
If Infinite gets delayed to like November, I might greatly consider it, because I've been following, shout out to a friend of the show, Silver Scorpion, who does the Halo completionist YouTube guides, and I've been following some of those, and like the legendary 3-hour runs interests me, and I feel like if I'm going to go through the effort of doing that, if I wanted to impale myself some more, I might as well try the lassos.
Now, you do realize that you have to play through the lassos twice, correct?
What do you mean?
You have to do the individual playlist, and then you have to do the playlist that's all the games on Lasso.
There's a Lasso playlist you have to do, and then you also have to do something else, pretty much what Krista said.
It's you have to do the individual game playlist, and then you have to do the cross-game playlist.
That's it, yeah.
Why?
Because they 343 hates you. Yeah, because I think one of them is to complete all the playlists. So you'd have to complete the cross-game Lasso playlist and the single-game Lasso playlist.
I mean, there's an achievement to do the Master Chief Saga playlist where you play every single mission.
That sounds like fun, actually.
That one actually is really fun. That was like one of the first things I did. I'll look into it if that's the case, but I thought it was just the playlists from the individual game rather than going into mission select and enabling all the skulls. You just do whatever the skulls that they have on, and then you just play mission by mission and all that kind of stuff. I'll have to look into it, but anyway, I definitely want to get 650 out of 700 was my benchmark before Infinite came out, and that's very attainable. I think it's really like 20 achievements that are the dedicated ones, which include like the legendary under 3 hours, all the lassos, and then like some of the multiplayer achievements because they're just so tedious. So if I could hit 670, I think that'd be pretty great. And if I wanted to dive in for those last 30 or so, if I had the time, which I do now.
You know what you need to do, Oran. That's a lot.
There's so much Halo time now.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever get as many, because I can't see myself doing the Lasso like ever. Like, it's just too much. But Oran the man, you got 6,010 gamer score in that game. That's real nice.
It's pretty great. I feel very accomplished. I mean, there's also plenty of achievements in Halo Wars that I haven't earned, so maybe I'll jump over to that once I hit a wall in Master Chief Collection. Anyway, that's me. That's me for Halo.
That's nice. It's good. Aaron, what have you been doing, buddy? You been doing much?
I definitely didn't rush back to my seat there because I got caught out.
How's your leg?
It's grand. I'm walking around because I've got my Bluetooth headphones on so I can move. For those that don't know, before the show we found out I'm dying one piece at a time, apparently.
Bits of his bodies are just not stop working.
Yeah, it's falling apart. As for Halo, I did none. I've been back on the Division mainly.
Oh, nice. I haven't gone back yet.
I just sort of wanted something to play and not really think about it, because I thought about starting a new game and I just went, I want something to muck about with. So I went back onto that, and my first evening I got, can't even remember what it was now, but it was an exotic assault rifle.
Man, you're some asshole. You have some fucking RNG blessing in that game.
I got an exotic Spaz 12.
Oh, you don't even use shotguns.
999k damage, David.
I don't care. It's a stupid game.
Are you guys okay?
He's very jealous.
Whatever.
The Spaz 12 is the best shotgun prop looking thing ever.
It's such a cool design. I've loved it ever since seeing it in like Jurassic Park. I remember just seeing, and I always thought it was like a fake gun. I didn't think it was real because it was just such an unusual design that I hadn't seen it like at the time. And I think it was years later when I found it was like in other video games and stuff, and that it was a real thing.
Something just iconic about the folding stock.
Yeah, it is. Well, since we last recorded, we've all actually read Contact Harvest. That was kind of a new thing for Oran and Aaron. You have read it before, I think, but you never went on the original recording. So that was kind of fun. Getting into what I did, it's pretty much been that too, where we all recorded Contact Harvest again. So we're going back over some of our older book clubs. Kind of like rejigging them a little bit, bringing in some fresh blood in Oran the Mang and Aaron to some of the older stuff. So that was quite enjoyable. I minced through that book in like 3 days, like way faster than I expected. I read half it in like one day. I just kind of got into it and got it. It's such a nice flow of a book. I forgot about it, like bits of it and characters in it and that are really interesting. And it kind of hops around a lot, but it's been pretty good. I've played some mission debrief, so we're slowly running out of Halo games. It's kind of like, oh shit, what are we going to do? What mission debrief? Because, you know, stupid 343 delayed our game and disrupt our whole schedule.
No, you mean smart 343.
Yeah, suppose.
We'll talk about all that though, about what we plan to do for the rest of the year.
Spoilers. After mission debrief, we're doing nothing.
No, we're finally doing Assassin's Creed debrief.
No! I quit.
Hey, don't announce anything. We don't want the people to get any ideas.
I'm really loving Halo Wars 2 again. I think I've only played I only ever played it once, and I played it through, and I think I went back to it when the DLC came out. Playing it through it again, I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm just going through a normal. I'm just doing it for enjoyment. I'm not going for achievements or anything, and I don't know why, but the Halo Wars games have never like pulled me in for achievement hunting in those games. Mostly because I think the difficulty spikes are insane. So playing those games on Legendary just really break your soul. I find them quite tough. So I'm really enjoying going through in normal. The different units in there are so cool. And obviously, I've always loved the Banished and always wanted them in the first-person games. So I'm super happy they are coming. I'm playing, kind of revising and getting myself into the Banished kind of mode through Halo Wars 2 is pretty fun. That's pretty much it. I haven't done anything else. But I think that counts. That's enough. So from that, we will go into the news because, you know, spoilers everybody, there's a shit ton of fucking news. Because a whole load of things happened since our reacts of Halo Infinite. Oran, I'm going to hand over to you, buddy, to lead us in since you put the script together so nicely. So, go on. Tell us what happened.
Alright, so I forget when, because it feels like forever ago, even though the July demo was only a month ago. Halo Infinite's officially been delayed. If you're listening to this, you probably already know that. It was pretty groundbreaking news. I don't know where you guys were, but I know I'll remember it for the rest of my life. I was sitting in the car with Margot.
Jesus.
And you guys posted it on our little chat. And as I was reading like 343's official thing, and like I would inject like words of no in the midst of that statement. And I would just like read what they're saying and then just say no. And Margot's like, Oran, it's okay. And I'm like, no.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
It's been delayed to 2021, and kind of because of this, and like really since the demo came out, the internet's been really hot and cold with kind of everything surrounding Halo Infinite. We've gotten a lot of like good news, we've gotten a lot of like speculative news, a lot of sort of angry news. And so it's kind of hard to weed through what we're all hearing. And so we've kind of compiled some of the things that have been discussed on the internet, some of the proposed leaks, some of the other sort of speculation. A lot of it's been like debunked. So we'll kind of go into there and, based off of my research, everything seems to not be on fire, but there's definitely something going on with 343 in terms of like developing this game. And it's just a matter for us to just trust them that whatever troubles that they're going through, they sort them out, and it's not anything that needs to cause worry. But I mean, we really won't know until we play the game. But before we get into all that, some really cool, awesome things that have come out over the past couple of weeks is every week, it seems, 343 have been releasing a soundtrack track from Halo Infinite. And so when the demo came out, the first soundtrack track that was released was called Set a Fire in Your Heart. We talked about it, I think, on another news episode. Very great piece. We really, really enjoyed it. And since then, the new two ones are called Revere and Through the Trees.
So good.
Or is it Reverie?
Reverie is almost a foil to the kind of the main Halo theme. And then Through the Trees is a foil for Walk in the Woods, pretty much.
Yes.
It's nice to be able to kind of listen to the songs and be like, oh my gosh, I know exactly where they got the inspiration.
It's
for
new
this.
music, but bringing you in some of the old stuff. It absolutely makes sense.
It sounds similar to the Halo 2 Anniversary soundtrack, where it has the same sort of, I guess, foundation to where it takes kind of the music and score that we recognize and gives it a more modern flavor. And so it seems that Infinite is kind of taking the best of the kind of original trilogy of Halo and kind of reinventing it, making it familiar but new and fresh. And yeah, I really enjoy what they've released so far, and it's given me really excited for kind of the full album and just the overall atmosphere of this game. Aaron, any takes?
Like everyone else, I'm sad, but it seems to be for the best. They need to get it right. They need to not have another Master Chief collection, so delay is better than things on fire or the other alternatives that were spouted, such as releasing the game in parts.
Yeah, let's not do that. That will not, people will not accept that.
I'm pretty sure that was just a discussion. I don't think they ever really planned on doing it.
Yeah, this has kind of been thrown around.
At the end of the day, it's going to be a positive thing for Halo, it's going to be a positive thing for the community, and it's going to be a positive thing for Microsoft. So I completely support the decision to delay.
I'm the same. It took me a while to come around to it because I was just so excited for a Halo game launching with a new console. That's just like such a big thing. And this year has been fucking crazy with the build up to these two consoles kind of going head to head. I guess everybody wants Halo just to come back and be incredible, and they just need more time to do it, which it is, fine. We don't want people crunching like crazy, making their lives miserable just to get a game out that people are going to shit all over. Really, the delay is a good thing. I'm happy with it. It needs to happen. It's going to stand to us in the end. We're going to get a better Halo game because of it. Splitting it would have been insane to try and say, oh, here's the campaign and here's multiplayer. I know other games have done that before, and it just seems weird, especially because, Master Chief is free to play, or not Master Chief, sorry, the
multiplayer.
Halo Infinite's going to be free to play, which is weird. So that feels like it could be a separate thing in the same way they spelled out something. Like, I think didn't Gears and Crackdown have like a campaign game and a multiplayer game that are like separate?
I think it's just Crackdown.
Yeah, Crackdown 3 has that. I'm not sure about Gears.
I thought it did something weird, or it installed something weird on my... I don't know what was going on, but anyway, I could see them doing something like that. Fuck it, it would have to be together.
To kind of get a little bit to what has been talked about is that there was a rumor that came out right when the demo came out, that multiplayer and campaign would launch separately, and then as we talked about on our last news show, Sketch said that that's just not the case. And then more recently, right before the delay, Phil Spencer was on a Animal Crossing talk and did discuss that there was talks at the more present time about releasing Infinite in a sort of staged release. And to kind of read a little bit of what he was saying is that talk and the talk that multiplayer and campaign would ship separately are not the same conversation. Those are two different instances. And rather that up until July, 343 has been hardcore thinking about launching everything at the same time. But as July sort of rolled around, and then there was talk about the reaction and whatever else was going on and sort of the corporate side of things, Phil, Matt Booty, and Bonnie Ross all had that meeting right before they announced the delay. And I think that's when they talked about, well, what if we delayed Forge, or if we delayed, whatever a firefight would be, but they would still package campaign and multiplayer together, but some of those other Halo sort of features and stuff wouldn't be at launch, so then they could hit that target date. And then Phil effectively said, no, we're not doing that. We're launching it when it's ready all at once. And Phil even mentioned back in June or May, I remember listening to Unlocked at IGN when they talked to Phil, and he said that Halo would get delayed first compared to the Series X. The software side of things is more prone to a delay than the actual hardware. From that kind of standpoint, it kind of makes sense that, hey, if the game's not ready, Xbox isn't afraid to give it the time that it needs.
Which is good. And I mean, Phil also doubled down that, yes, Series X is coming out this year. You guys are going to get it. It's interesting. The only reason to get it right now is kind of Game Pass, though, right?
I mean, I feel like the only real reason to get a Series X is if you want the highest fidelity content for the new games that are coming out.
Like Cyberpunk.
Well, not Cyberpunk because it's not launching with a Series X optimized version, but a game like Assassin's Creed and some other Ubisoft games.
Both PlayStation and Xbox now are pushing Assassin's Creed. I saw a recent marketing post by PS5, and they're like, the new Spider-Man Miles Morales and Assassin's Creed is coming. They're their launch games that they're pushing real hard. I think that's really interesting that Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft are just winning by both these companies just pushing their games forward as being look at this, it's next gen, it's ready.
Yeah, I mean, between Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs Legions, and then Far Cry 6 early next year, Ubisoft has a pretty good triple threat, within 6 months of the new console. So, I mean, really the only large competitor to them, obviously, is Cyberpunk, now that Halo's kind of out of the way. But yeah, there's still, quote-unquote, a reason to get Series X, but it's really down to more of your preference. I didn't really want to play Halo Infinite on an inferior console when the latest and greatest thing was out, but now I kind of don't know if I really want to be an early adopter, because I even waited for the One X almost a year. I didn't get the Scorpio edition or anything, so it's all going to boil down to kind of what your preferences are, which I don't know if you guys have made up your minds or not, but I'm probably going to get it at launch, but I'm still on the fence.
I already have the money allocated for it, so it's just I'm going to be spending the cash anyway, and I have the cash on hand, so I might as well just get it.
I'm kind of feeling the same as well. I kind of want to update. Because AC is a really big game for me this year, so I'm fucking all about getting that game looking as best as it can be. And I know it's going to boost everything else. I've recently joined Game Pass Ultimate, so there's a shit ton of stuff there. So I'm interested to see what else they do for the launch, because they're going to need to do a bit more now, not having Halo there. So I know they're changing their marketing. It's all going to be about the services, but at the same, they've got to offer you something with that console, and it can't just be a month's subscription or of Game Pass. There's got to be a bit more to it, I think. And I know PS5 is going with a pack-in. It's got that Astrobot game. That will amount to more or less nothing. I don't think that's going to be a huge deal, but it's something else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the thing is, the year that a new console comes out, the games are never quite all there usually. Usually it's the year after the console comes out, but it's notorious that the year a new generation comes out, the games are usually not as good as they are even a year or 2 years after The console is kind of already cemented into the infrastructure, so...
Well, it is interesting, like, from the game showcase, like, a lot of 343 or Xbox Studio games seem to be 2 or 3 years out from now because they had... they didn't seem to support Xbox One family of consoles on their little trailers and stuff. So, like, those are definitely the heavy hitters that Microsoft wants to double down on, and they're still trying to utilize the most out of the console by still being in development.
And Steely Jones has a good point in our chat that something I've been thinking about as well. I really wanted and believed there would be a Halo-themed boxes. Xbox Halo-themed boxes have always been good. I still have my 360 Reach and I love it. You would imagine there is going to be one, and that obviously won't be there at launch, and now it's in 2021. So are people thinking, do I wait and see, do they do a Series X themed Halo console? Because you imagine that's a thing, right?
Yeah, I would think that you would do that. I think that's a no-brainer.
Aaron, are you waiting, or what are you?
I'm going to wait. I was planning to wait anyway because I need to upgrade my TV first. I still have my 1080 plasma screen that will need to be retired at some point, so I figured I would keep my One X, play Halo on that this year, and look to upgrade my TV first, and then upgrade the Xbox down the line. The only thing that would have twisted my arm or really made me think about that would have been if there was a limited edition console and it looked particularly good, because they do end up selling out. Although, like when the Gears console came out and I just couldn't justify buying it, I was kind of hoping they might do a Halo Elite controller, and that would be my alternative.
Yeah.
I can't find an Elite Series 2 anywhere, and I've been kind of keeping an eye out because my Series 1 is so beat up, it's sad. She still works perfectly. She's just not looking as good as she used to.
I'm guessing a lot of people stuck at home have just bought them all up and thought, fuck it, what else do I do with my money?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm thinking.
I'm waiting for the Series X controller to kind of come out to see how that plays, because all of my One controllers are kind of getting to the end of their days, and I don't really want to just buy a new one, but I'm afraid if I go over to the Elite controller, I'm just never going to want to come back.
Yeah, that's completely true, but also the Elite controller has a pretty good lifespan. So if you're someone who goes through controllers pretty quickly, you're gonna... Because when did the original Elite controller come out? Like, 2015?
Yeah, a long time ago, yeah.
So I've been playing with this controller pretty much exclusively for 5 years, and it's still working just fine. It just doesn't look as nice.
I think it was last year where I actually finally stopped using every day my Master Chief controller, and that's really beat up.
I'm still using that one, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful controller.
I got both of the Halo 5 controllers, and they're just in pristine condition. They're gorgeous.
No, I've been using them. My dad has the lock one, and I have the Master Chief one.
It's the nicest controller I've ever had, to be honest. I really love it, and that's what I find. I would find the justification of buying an Elite too much for me, just from the fact that it's so goddamn expensive, and I've got two fully functioning controllers. One that is beautifully, which I don't use anymore. I'm using my Series X one, or my One X one now.
Jesus Christ,
Jesus Krysta Brown.
For you audio listeners there, Krysta just put a photo in the chat.
Oh, that's disgusting. It's actually disgusting, Krysta Brown.
I know, it's really damaged.
Krysta, that looks like a third-party controller. Like, that looks like a Mad Catz Xbox One controller.
And it's not even dirty, it's just that the paint has started chipping off.
Also, Krysta, you use the dome-shaped sticks like a weirdo.
What? I love them, they're great.
No, you're using those frickin' Sony sticks. I literally can't play the PlayStation 3 controller because of those thumbsticks.
I don't like because these are the mid-range sticks. I don't like the really tall ones, and I don't like the really short ones, but the cap kind of came off on one of the sticks. And
The kind of rubber cap came off of my girlfriend's controller. It's weird just to navigate Netflix with it.
I use the tall stick for the right just because I feel like it helps aim a bit better. It has that use, it gives you slightly more precision.
They're definitely, ever since they did a Gears themed controller, I kind of think it's weird they've never done anything else, and they've never done a Halo themed Elite controller.
Like, even just, like, the Design Labs controllers.
Yeah, because you think those, or maybe even a Design Lab Elite, you think that that's just money to be made.
I feel like a like what makes Design Labs so effective is that it's kind of mass produced of the base model. Like, I feel like doing very individualized Elite controllers would be a little bit more difficult for their manufacturing. I mean, maybe not.
Well, and manufacturing isn't at the best of times right now anyway, so...
But I didn't even think about Design Labs, though, for the new controller. And, like, for Series X.
When I got my new Elite controller, I traded in my Gears Elite, and I got almost what I paid for my Gears Elite back. It held its value stupidly well.
That's real nice.
There was a demand for them. They really do need to make a Halo one. I think they'd sell a fortune.
I would totally wait to get a new controller for that, because like I said, she's not pretty, but she works.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Well, to kind of spin it back towards the game, there was an article that came out more recently that had a lot of claims as to why Infinite has a, quote, turbulent journey. And nearly all of these claims have kind of been debunked by community members and even Sketch. But I think it's worth listing just because we really don't know what's going on. It talked about, I think someone in the panel here talked about like outsourcing and how Infinite allegedly is being outsourced to other developers to kind of do the workload a little bit more so than other AAA studios tend to do. Sketch kind of said that doesn't really apply here, and it's more of just the same. There's also talk about how the TV show has been delaying the game release, which I at first was like, oh, that could make sense. But Sketch also came out and said that there's completely two different teams. And all I'll say about it, kind of being in the TV production landscape, is that like if the same studio heads that were in charge of the game and the production of the TV show, I can see that being a very huge conflict of interest, because once you start rolling the cameras and you actually start filming, the speed at which you produce is just so much quicker than really any other entertainment entity. Whereas if it's still in like pre-production and all that kind of stuff, then you can probably bounce between the two or even focus more on the game because of how the game sort of developed. But it sounds from what Sketch was saying, which is honestly how it should be, is that they're two completely independent things. And you also have to remember that like Forward Unto Dawn and Nightfall were also produced and allegedly hit their target release date. So why would this be any different? But, you know, COVID attacked and all that kind of stuff. So that's its own other thing. But what else? It also talked about how Tim Longo and Mary Olson were creative directors, but then weren't creative directors. But that was also debunked way back when that happened earlier in 2019. I would just say for anyone that's reading articles like these that just kind of take them with a grain of salt. You know, there could be some truth behind it. And I'm not trying to like, or, you know, we're not trying to just say, you know, ignore all this and be like 3 for 3 apologists or anything. But it's definitely very unknown to like us as the community. Like we're so eager for news and answers because we want and love so much about this franchise. And so just don't get ahead of yourself, I guess is what we wanted to say. I don't know if you guys want to touch anything else about this leak, but I think in short, it's probably just a lot of talk and not too much substance.
You know, the thing is, you know, you can get on the internet and say whatever you want. So I would just save whatever judgment you have until the game's actually released or 343 talks about it. That's what I would say.
Yeah, and Sketch has kind of had some responses on Twitter and Reddit and kind of being the face of it all. I think actually 343 had an official statement that they gave to IGN regarding the TV show saying the transmedia team with Showtime is completely different and separate from the Infinite development team. So just make sure that you, dear listeners, do your research, I guess, before you participate in these very heated conversations.
Should we cover the current breaking news rumor that is circulating as we speak?
Is it anything to do with dropping Xbox One support?
It is.
So is anything developed since we started recording than what that tweet was?
I've just seen an article posted that I think is based on those screenshots, so it's just starting to circulate now.
So someone on Twitter, I don't know where she or he got these two photos, but apparently it's a conversation talking about the capabilities of Infinite on an Xbox One S and how it's not even running at 1080p and is having a very difficult time trying to reach that. And there are a lot of other sort of just kind of difficulties trying to run the assets that they want to load on the current gen systems. And that there may be an idea circulating that Infinite might even get delayed till 2022 so they can drop support of the Xbox One and make it a Series X exclusive. And so someone said, where are you getting this info? Someone says that Sponger seems to have the sources. So it's very much like, look at me, I'm on the internet, I could say whatever I want to say. I mean, a long conversation since really the Series X was announced is how can game, like, you know, what is being sacrificed for a game in development that launches on both generations? Because like I kind of mentioned 10 minutes ago, Matt Booty and Phil Spencer have said, well, for the next year or two, all Xbox Game Studio titles will launch on both platforms, where a lot of the kind of more notable games that the community wants to play are all 2 or 3 years out from now, kind of outside of that window, but Infinite lands within that window. But having this game run on the brick of the OG 2013 model is a lot to compensate for. Phil has kind of defended it. Well, PC uses varying specs all the time. It should be something that we can apply to this. So while I pull up the post or the poll results that I tweeted about, David, Krysta, what are your thoughts on Infinite potentially losing Xbox One support?
It would drive the sale of consoles, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think there would be angry people because, you know what I mean, there's a lot of Xbox Ones out there. But the world is different now for console launch than it ever has been before, where people are so used to backwards compatibility. Xbox is being on top of that. So, like, to say then that this is not going to be backwards compatible is weird. But I don't think anyone would argue that it makes a better game.
Well, and here's the thing. We know that there's going to be a less expensive version of the Xbox Series X. And we don't know the price points for each of them. If the other console's like $300, that's not bad. If you want to just play Halo Infinite, you know, you buy the box.
I think, and presumably that comes with Game Pass, and then you have the game and you can get what you need out of it. Do you know what I mean? Relatively cheaply.
Yeah, you don't even have to buy the $60 game. You buy the $300 console, the console comes with like a month of Game Pass.
Given the fact that I was planning, where most of us are planning on buying the new console when it comes out, and probably more people will buy the console when Halo comes out, if it was specific to just that console, that's a difficult messaging point for them to come out with, but I think ultimately they'd get a better game out of it, and I think people would probably be okay with it in the end.
Yeah. I think we can sacrifice for a better Halo.
Another point to consider is that with the game now launching in 2021, assuming it keeps that launch year, it does allow more time for people to upgrade. Like another selling point to where, you know, day one when this new console launches, you can still play it on your current console if you don't want to upgrade. But say a year goes by and Infinite does come out, well, now you have people who maybe didn't buy it day one, but maybe got it for Christmas or another holiday or birthday during 2021. Black Friday the next year. So now that they have upgraded to the new console and more people are in that ecosystem, having it be a Series X exclusive can just support those players who have those, but also, for like you said, Krysta, just further drive sales. Well, it's like, hey, I waited a year, maybe it's $50 off, or I've heard a lot of good things about the lower end specs and it fits my setup. You know, now's the time to upgrade. Or they do, like we've talked about before, they do a themed console where it's Infinite branded. And so then now it's like, if you don't have the console yet, boom, you buy your Halo console, you get your Halo game, and now it's on the system.
I think the other thing is, if it delayed for like a year, they're outside of the minimum window they said was like the games for a year or two would be cross-gen. So if it didn't release till next winter, they've skipped that window completely. So
Yeah, if it's delayed, it makes it an easier sell as an exclusive if it's delayed, for sure.
I know people would still be upset. The likes of my niece and nephew, who will not be getting Series S anytime soon, will just have to huff and invade my house.
That's kind of the experience of being a kid, though.
That's true. But if it's not going to run well on their consoles, I'd rather not go down that road. If they're going to have a really subpar experience, I'd rather wait.
I don't think it'd be that bad, and I don't know if the kids would recognize it as being that much worse.
The only thing I see in that article is it's running at sub 900p, and they sort of hint at substantially in places, but they say the other problem it has is asset loading, which would maybe make sense if you've got a game running on a hard drive when it's built to run better on a SSD. You don't want your shitty experience in Halo to be popping all the time and loading screens.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, if they were to have it come out on both consoles, Microsoft's going to want, you to play campaign with the other generation and be able to play multiplayer with the other generation, and that just adds a whole lot more for 343 to do. Because the game's already going to be compatible with PC, most likely. So they have to not only make it cross-platform for PC, but cross-platform from the other generation.
It's a developing story, but just like we said, take it with a grain of salt until 343 or Daddy Phil says something.
It's not all doom and gloom.
Our Twitter poll was, should Infinite support the Xbox One family or be an Xbox Series X exclusive? And we had 25 votes in the past hour. It was a 20-80 split. So 20% said that it should be on the Xbox One family, whereas 80% of those votes said it should be an exclusive. I would have to agree. I think I was back in the day on board for everything just because it's pro-consumer, you get everything. But now sort of trying to understand what 343 has in store for this game and the vision that they want, to me, it just does themselves a favor to just keep it on the next-gen stuff because the technology is just so much better to do the different things that they want to do. Even though you could scale back and get a different experience on other gens, like you would still be sacrificing, and you would still have the conversation of old gen holding you back, which even though to Phil's best effort he tries to debunk, but I think that's a reality that it won't be able to avoid.
It's a reality for any games that go cross-generation. And here's the other thing. We haven't seen a lot of marketing material for Halo Infinite, but all the marketing material and kind of the message around the game is that it's a next-gen experience. And I think people have kind of accepted that Halo Infinite means you want to play it on the next-gen console. So I think if people already have it in their minds that they're going to want to play it on the next-gen console anyway, and that it's a next-gen experience, I don't think there'll be a lot of backlash. Because people already think of it that way.
Yeah, and if the next thing that they show is a much better looking Halo, people will be down for it. I think it makes that sale much easier and the message point easier too.
I think they've kind of already planted the seeds that, hey, it might not be, it's a next gen experience. You might not see it on the Xbox One. If they come out and say it, there'll obviously be some people angry about it, but I think the overall reaction will be like, yeah, I was already going to buy the console for it anyway.
Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah, and with it launching in 21, I think it's an easier pill to swallow if you are in the camp of, well, I don't want to upgrade just yet. I'm still getting the most out of my 1S or 1X or what have you for those people to upgrade. And then hopefully by then we know whatever's going on with this lower end Lockhart console, but who knows about that.
Yeah.
Did you see some crazy Americans got the controller, the next gen controller, and it has Series S on it?
Yes, I did see that.
I think there was a price point link, a price point leak as well, or something like that, but that could be anything.
Yeah, but the controller is kind of legit, do you know what I mean? So that the box of that pretty much confirms.
The packaging is legit because it's, the messaging there says what it needs to say, and it does confirm an S series.
I know it won't be the case, but I really wish that when the S comes out, it looks like the Photoshops, where it's basically a GameCube.
a GameCube?
I kind of like it, yeah. Like it's a shorter cube.
I think it's gonna just look like the 1S.
I think it's going to look like the older console. Do you remember when they brought out that slick 360? That was like a halfway step between the Xbox One.
Yeah, that was sweet.
There's a listing somewhere. I can't remember when I saw it where the listing was for, but someone listed a version 2 Xbox One S. That could be the revamp, the way they did with the 360 and made like the E. There could be like a revamp of the 1S to make it look slightly more like the current consoles. So I don't know what the Series S will look like, but I like the idea of the 1S changing shape.
I think they're going to pretty much halt production on some of the older consoles at this point and just focus on the newer ones.
The 1X is done, I think they said, didn't they?
They've killed everything but the 1S with the disk drive. They killed the SAD version, they killed the 1X, but they're still making the 1S. Which makes me, I could see them selling, if they revamped it and made it smaller and sold it to people as a Game Pass machine that also plays 1X games locally.
And plays 4K Blu-rays. I mean, for $200, that box is like very much worth its price. And then you have your Lockhart at like $350, and then your Series X at like $500 or $600.
I think you'd be surprised how many people want to buy the console with the disc drive because they also use it as an entertainment system.
Yeah, that's why I have it.
That's one of the reasons we have it. It's just a 4K machine. It's great.
Yep.
If my games are still working, I have a lot of games on disc still. Do you mean if I want to use them on my next gen console?
Yeah, that's another argument to where, if you don't have a disc, if you have a discless machine, then all of your discs from previous generations that work via backwards compatibility, you instantly lose.
Yeah.
Disk drive's just kind of the way to go. Unless you are new to the gaming ecosystem and you have no other games, then I think a digital environment seems more natural. I mean, I buy all my more recent games, I buy digitally. Like the last disc game I bought, I think was Destiny 2, which I sold.
Oh man, I'm buying a lot of discs. I'm all over the place with discs. Because they're just so cheap sometimes.
They are, yeah. That's kind of how I go, like, because sometimes, like, the Ultimate Game Sale can come out and shit can be really cheap on there, and it's cheaper to buy there. I buy it wherever it's cheaper when I'm looking at a game.
Same.
But I was kind of moving stuff around in my game room, and I was moving all of the discs that I have. I'm like, this is a fucking pain in the ass. I hate this.
So the last bit of Infinite news that we have is Halo tweeted about the Brute Prowler, if you remember from Halo 3.
That was just a normal Fiction Friday, right? Because I didn't see anything about that connecting it to Infinite.
It did say that it is still used, like the last little note that it had was that the Prowler is still used by the Banished today.
Oh, I didn't even see that bit. That makes sense. Okay, yeah.
It doesn't necessarily confirm it, but I think it brings up a very interesting point that I think we should talk about, because for me personally, my biggest concern with Infinite is kind of the large scale set pieces that we've had in previous games. I pretty much look to Halo 3, almost every mission, there's like either some vehicle combat or some really cool badassery that you're doing. And I have a concern on whether or not we can deliver that in Halo Infinite to the caliber of like a more traditional linear campaign. And with releasing this post, it's like, okay, well, we've had the Warthog. We'll more than likely have like the Scorpion and other vehicles. We've almost maybe gotten a confirmation about the Prowler here. So what do we think vehicle combat and stuff might look like in Halo Infinite if it's this seemingly huge open world that we get to navigate? So I kind of wanted to just pose that to everybody.
I like the idea of what next gen isn't just better looking shit. Next gen is bigger, faster. Do you know what I mean? So I like the idea of an open, like if your encounters are bigger, if you're going to be fighting more, like what do you fight in the game? Maybe 2 to 3 rates max. Do you know what I mean? In an encounter. What if you're fighting 10 rates? There's a mission in Halo Wars, which is like, not Halo Wars, it's one of the twin stick shooters, Assault or something, and it's like you get in a Scorpion and you drive with like 5 other Scorpions through this map, just pushing forward. Kind of think like in Halo 3 when you're assaulting the Scarab. Do you know what I mean? You're working down through this kind of terrain, fighting waves of enemies. Like, what if that is... Imagine that, like, times 10. What if you were fighting, like... Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I think you might get in Infinite. I hope, do you know what I mean? That you get bigger scale of the fights.
Honestly, for me, I think Next Gen is more open world and more random events. Just a random enemy just comes and is patrolling the area you're in and stuff like that, just to make it feel more like a living world. I feel that's the angle.
And like a convoy running between two locations, that's just like, what if it's like vehicle based? Like, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Like waiting in ambush to like assault a enemy convoy, and you're laying traps or whatever, you're dropping mines. That'd be dope.
Dude, I would love like a Halo Reach Nightfall-esque mission where you have to sneak into like a banished base at like nightfall, and there's like patrol choppers driving around and you have to evade them, and then that sounds pretty cool. And that could be pretty big scale because of just you're going into this massive like fortress, or even kind of like what Truth and Reconciliation was, where you had to go into the Covenant ship.
Oh shit, what if a random ship pulls up and you can just go in it whenever you want?
They did have like the Lick kind of gameplay was kind of like that, like imagine them showing up and they're of a scale that's pretty easy to kind of like drop into a map like that, and then you can kind of like assault them and capture them. Like, that'd be awesome. That's like a random event.
And then you could fly it.
That's too much. That's too much, Oran.
You think that's too much? You think that's one step too far? Think about it in Halo 4. Like when you go up the lift and you break, you infiltrate the lift, and then what if you just flew that over to the Forerunner structure instead of walking?
I'm thinking, what if you just had tip of the spear but playable? You didn't have to get trapped on the bridge on your own, so you could just like play and have the AI trundle around without you.
Dude.
You've
I think I broke Oran, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've just been playing, like, someone asked me, they're like, what's the one thing you would love to put in Halo Infinite? And I was, like, thinking about things, and I picked Invasion just because of, like, how big Invasion is in Reach, but to just think about what you could do on a next-gen console with, like, an Invasion type of game type, like that keeps it more Invasion as opposed to Warzone, because I think Warzone can get a little cluttered at times with, like, too much going on. But, like, even still, like, that, and then Tip of the Spear is, like, one of the best missions in Halo Reach, and just, like, that was, like, the mission to sell you on, like, there's a massive battle going on this planet to fight the Covenant. To kind of translate that into Infinite to where there's a massive fight going on this ring. Like, yeah, that's some good speculation. I'm living for it.
I think Invasion should be one of the team's fights to the control room and then just yeets part of the ring out into space. I.e. escalation.
That's definitely got to be a mechanic in this game, right? At some point, you're ejecting a segment of the ring to, like, kill a bunch of units or forces or something, right?
No, I think what that mechanic will be is that's what you're doing in, like, the Maw.
At the end?
Your big Warthog race is going to be racing across a halo as the ground ejects behind and around you.
Oh, now you're speaking my language.
So instead of falling behind you, it ejects.
Could this be multiple vehicles too? So you start off running and then you get into like a Warthog and then you transfer to like a Banshee and it's
what if it was kind of like in Halo 4 when you're like charging through Requiem on the Ghost and you're like the world's moving? Like what if you're driving a Warthog through sections of countryside that are lifting up and collapsing and you're having to like aim yourself down onto the next section and make the landing and drive on?
That would be cool.
343, hire this man.
But also, what I'm thinking of, you've got me thinking, Oran, this is obviously a big or open world game. Like, what's aerial capabilities going to be? Because there's going to be Banshees in this game that you can fly, right?
And there's a wasp in the cover art that's crashed.
Yeah, so you were thinking wasps, hornets. I mean,
we'll see the bringing back of. Do you remember on Sandtrap or? Was it the other map in Halo 3 where you had...
Oh, where it had, like, the lasers?
Yeah, like, they had the Guardians, but I think if you fly too high, you'll just be shot down.
Or Sentinels attack you or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe this is why you're trapped on the Halo in the Pelican. Like, the Pelican would be able to fly away. Maybe you you can slip in and out, but once you're there, you're stuck, like in case the Sentinels decide you can't leave the ring.
Well, I'm also guessing that the reason why you're not leaving, because obviously you could at the start, because that's what the pilot wanted to do, is that John refused to leave and forced him down, and then the Pelican got shot down, so now he's pissed off that he can't leave.
I figure, though, the Banished would have our superiority unless there's a reason they don't. That could be the thing, is that your, like, get out of jail is, oh no, the Sentinels are shooting down everyone equally.
Yeah, either that, or I can even see Banished anti-aircrafts being kind of the guardians of the sandbox map that you were thinking of, to where, like, if you fly too close, like, you'll get a thing that says, like, anti-air locking onto you, turn around, sort of, or like something like that.
I mean, the demo clearly shows you taking down anti-air guns as being part of the mission structure.
And so maybe that's a way to, like, broaden your...
Open the map.
Yeah, open your map.
Yeah. That's interesting. I like that.
All right, so winding down here, our last bit of Halo-related news is that Halo just released branded face masks. If you want to protect yourself and others around you from the coronavirus, you can wear Halo-branded apparel that they tweeted about on their store, so you can check those out.
They're like $20 though.
I think our proceeds might be going,
It's going somewhere. Also, why didn't they make a flood mask where you're like all infected? That might be a little off.
No, that's too much, Krysta.
Dude, okay. I've seen a mask of someone basically wearing the alien that like face sucker. 3 days later, I saw it on the internet, and it was creepy.
That sounds amazing.
People are doing it.
I think plague masks are probably a little, not probably good.
They missed out the obvious thing to do with these masks. It should just be a grunt breather mask.
Oh, shit.
There you go.
The people that wear face masks in the Halo universe, and they didn't make a mask after them.
Boo.
I know.
Our last bit of news is that the Xbox user experience has been sort of teased and kind of showcased a little bit. When the Series X launches, the dashboard and that kind of system will be updated across all of the Xbox console families, and also unify the interfaces from all the mobile apps, from the PC, Windows 10 game bar, and make everything kind of connected and talking to each other. And they just talked about how the Series X allows them to do things faster, load things quicker, free up more space by using less memory. Also showcased a few features like you can save a game, like you can record a game clip on your Xbox, and then it sends a notification to your phone. And while it's updating or uploading to the internet, you can write a message on your phone and send it out to your activity feed or your messages, all in kind of one seamless sort of task.
I like that. I think it's so annoying to try to find your clips and shit on Xbox. I'd rather have it on my phone and then just save it to like my camera roll or something like that.
You can do that, Krysta.
Well, I know, but I'd rather it just kind of automatically go there.
I just use the Xbox app and like click and save, because you can do that now from the feed in the Xbox app without having to like try and go into the video and open it and do all that shit. You can just save it to your camera roll.
Yeah, I'd rather like there be an option to just say, hey, if I'm doing a screenshot, just put it right on my camera roll.
With the power of OneDrive, Krysta, you can do anything.
Yay!
There was a video that landed on Xbox's YouTube as well as an article on Xbox Wire, and the words that they used is effortless, fast, and welcoming. Those are kind of their three principles that they're trying to live by as they develop this.
The only thing I've also seen other videos of people breaking down some of the insider stuff, and what they're doing with achievements is so fucking terrible.
Oh, I didn't hear about this. Uh-oh.
They're like where you're like your main tab, the achievements are not there anymore. It's not even in there. It's called game or gaming. It's kind of just some linked out things to like who's playing that game. They're looking for group in multiple places. Getting to your achievements and comparing them, the leaderboard is gone. It's kind of, they're hidden now, and you go into your profile to see your achievements and what's next to unlock.
Yuck.
So like this is the Insider Hub. This is not necessarily related to this, the UI and the stuff, the store changes.
I feel like, because like Xbox just made it so that we can kind of customize our
They did a bit, yeah.
So I mean, I feel like they're probably going to go more with that. So maybe you can like bring the achievements out and be like, I want this on one of the tabs when I press the home button.
They better.
Or else David's going to riot in the streets.
I'm a little annoyed with them at the minute. Something they did in the last upgrade or the update broke my profile picture and I can't get it to re-upload. I've tried it multiple times, but it's the only thing I have where I'm no longer Virgil.
Aww.
And it's pissing me off. I just keep looking at my stupid 360 avatar in its ODST suit going like, you're not as cool as Virgil.
It's so sad.
It is.
I'm really excited for moving backgrounds or like animated backgrounds. That was confirmed.
I'm so excited.
Do you know what I want as an animated background on the Halo 2 anniversary map Ascension? If you just stand at the end of the map and watch the ring rotate.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I want that, yeah. Definitely. And they're going to give you that, right? One of these defaults has got to be a Halo ring.
Dude, it has to be. That'd be...
And I'm sure you can like take GIFs and stuff like that and upload it on. And I'm excited. I think this is going to be so sweet.
Well, that's our news, everyone.
We did it!
If anyone wants any other hot takes about anything, say it now or forever hold your peace. Halo Infinite got delayed.
Did it? I'm so mad. 343 are a bunch of evil people, and I'm just so angry all the time. And I think Halo Infinite's gonna be an awful game now because they delayed it.
I have switched my allegiances to Killzone. That's where you'll find me.
The Halo Killer.
Yep.
I now only play exclusively on my Nintendo DS.
Alright, so we get to Community Evolved?
Community... actually, Oran, you did this, so yeah, go for it, Oran.
Well, I figure I can ask this, and then we can get to the voicemails. But basically, we have a question for you all that are here. What month when do you think Halo... I should just read the question. When in 2021 do you think Halo Infinite will release?
February 30th.
That could be a month. That could be a day. I think the going estimate is the 15th of November, because that's the 20th anniversary of Halo.
I think I kind of want it.
Dude, if they drop the Xbox One support, it's Series X only, I'd be completely happy.
And like a shit ton of merch and shit. Like they need to just brand a bunch of like 20 years with like a Halo and shit.
Yeah, like regardless of Halo Infinite being that, like that date is in and of itself an event, because at 10 years we got the Halo anniversary, which was amazing and perfect. Do you know what I mean? It kind of feels, this is a homage, it's whatever, it's a reboot, it's bringing back a lot of stuff, so it kind of makes sense to come out, but like November, I feel, is just so late in the year.
Remaster Halo 3.
I was hoping for like a June release. Like that's what my money was on. I didn't want it to go that late. I was kind of hoping like 6 or 8 months would be enough time for them to do their stuff. How if we get, for the 20th anniversary, we get like an up-resed version of Master Chief Collection?
Remaster Halo 3!
I think they can still like market 2021 as the like year of Halo anniversary, even though it's not. Obviously, they'll do something for the 15th, but like if the game comes out in May or in September, they could still market it as coming out 20 years. Yeah, for the 20th anniversary of Halo, play the new Halo or something.
Maybe they'll just come out with like a super shiny like CE edition or something like that you can buy. That'd be pretty sweet.
How upset will we all be when all they do is a double XP weekend?
Yay! I think they should get some genetic scientists to create the Flood and then just, let it go on the 20th and be like, alright, Halo in real life, let's go.
That seems about right for the way this year's gone so far. Why not have some Flood? What's the worst that could happen?
We're gonna just start putting powder on dogs now.
Let's see. DeSudo says June 9th, which would be 6/9 on the calendar. Steely Jones says November as well, although it'd be sweet if it was in the spring. Hashtag 20th anniversary edition. That'd be pretty cool. That would be cool if they released it in like May or something, but then they had like a soft re-release of Infinite as like a 20th anniversary edition.
Or just re-released Master Chief Collection or something like that as like a really shiny package.
What if they made a version of the Series X that was Master Chief's helmet?
And you just put discs in the back of his head where like the Cortana port is.
Ooh, that's cool.
Or there'd be like a slot in the bottom of the visor. You can just like slide them in through it. But what if they
So
just
it looks
made
like
a
you're
big
putting
fuck
like
off?
something in his mouth.
Yeah, they just made like a big fuck off Chief head. And then when you like eject your disc, it looks like Chief spitting out his dinner.
Here you go, Chief. Eat your broccoli.
Gross.
The storage looks like an AI chip. They should really make, because the Xbox is making their own storage for the next console, they should really make themed storage things.
Did you see there's a rumor about those sticks that they may only be $99?
That's not bad. How many terabytes is it?
For the 1 terabyte SSD?
And you could still put your regular hard drive on it too. And then, because like, the thing is like their SSD can do the upscaled stuff.
I think if it's optimized for Series X, it needs to be on the Series X SSD.
Okay.
So like Cyberpunk, when it launches, you can keep it on your USB because it's going to run the same until an optimization patch comes out. But like Assassin's Creed, you'll want to put that on your SSD because it's going to be optimized for it.
The only thing I want to know is, will Xbox One games be able to like instant resume even if they're on the hard drive? How will that work? Because I would love to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's a good point. We won't know.
Okay, keep the show moving. Oran, do we have any voicemails?
We do. We have 2 voicemails. Aaron, take it away.
Okay, we are going to hit play on this and everyone cross their fingers.
Okay.
Hey, Evolve crew. This is Claptrap from the Discord. Just wanted to say that live shows have been really interesting, and yeah. Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, buddy.
See you later.
I did not screen these beforehand, so I cannot see. You didn't tell me that it was praise.
Oh, you don't like praise?
I can't cope with too much of it, so.
Well, thank you very much, Claptrap.
I see him on all the time.
I'm actually shocked he's not here right now listening.
Pseudo's calling them out, though.
He's betrayed us.
Claptrap the Incontinent. Jesus, that's a name. Right, what's our next one?
We've got one more. I don't see a name on this, so let's just go with it.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
Is this thing on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Oh
on.
Lord, I hope I have the right number.
Amazing.
Alright, guess I'll call back later.
All right. We'll be waiting for your call.
He didn't ask about the weather.
Yeah, it wasn't the old lady.
We never did dig up the old lady voicemail, did we?
We'll do that at the end of the year. That'll be our end of the year sign off.
I think that'll have to be like a post-credits thing. I'll put it at the end of an episode randomly. Someone's going to be listening just being like, why is my granny on the podcast? What is this?
Grandma, don't call the Evolved crew.
Just chatting about the weather.
Finally, what we have for the show before we close out is our Evolve Digest. So it's kind of just stuff we're doing, just wrapping it up of what's happened as of late with Podcast Evolve. As you can imagine, Oran put together an incredible schedule that got thrown under the bus.
He took so long on that schedule too, and then like 343 tweets once, and then we have to throw it in the trash.
Guy, I don't think you guys understand how proud I am of the schedule I've been putting on for the first half of this year.
Well, now it's ruined.
And it's just got a lot of rejiggering, so we're reevaluating at the moment what we're doing, especially because we have no idea what's going to happen in 2021. All that marketing that we thought we'd be getting by now is not happening, so there's bits and pieces, there's a lot of things moving around. So we're probably going to have a little bit of a slower end of the year. Anyhow, The Road to Infinite, as I said, there's about 2 more episodes left for 2020. We're gonna stop there because there's no point really. We will pick up again in 2021 when things may slip. The road stopped. The road is still under construction, so we're just waiting for the rest of the road. The last month's episode was The Banished. Remaining at the moment, we're going to cover Sentinels and Prometheans. A mission debrief at the moment, so it's mostly the same and will be unchanged. We're going to just carry on as we are. Our 2021 plans, like we said, are TBD. We have no more Halo games, but we're going to try and do a few other things to keep calling around. We're going to continue Halo Wars 2 through to October when we kind of finish up. November, December, we'll probably have is where we will do our couple of special episodes to round out the year. The book club, last month we did Halsey's Journal, which was awesome. Go check it out if you haven't already. We got Cece Fox on. She was amazing. It was super trippy listening to like Halsey while you're talking about Halsey.
It was really weird. She's so nice though, yeah.
This month we're going to do a content harvest that is recorded. We were going to be re-releasing it and deleting the old one from the internet. It'll no longer be there. It is unofficial. I don't know. I'm just assuming we're replacing it. I don't know.
I figured we would just keep it.
A monument to all of our sins.
And I think we have plans next year to have another feed, and we probably just won't upload the...
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I think like on the website... Like, it's like episode 4 or something on the website. So, if you really want to know what they are, and I even asked Ian about it, if we might make like a separate gallery thing where it's like legacy podcasts or legacy book clubs, and it's like the 6 that we originally have, and then we just incorporate the new ones into the lineup.
Our 2020 goals are Shadow of Reach, which is still due to release early to mid-November. Release will be our show. The book itself, I think, is still due in October.
Yeah, it's 20th of October.
20th of October, right. So hopefully, that all going well, we'll still be picking up that book. That'll be our major kind of piece of content. We were going to re-record 5 book clubs from the 2014 days. We are going to complete all of Halo Evolutions Volume 1 short stories.
This year?
This year, it's happening.
Yeah, this year.
2021... We're going to do all new releases, complete Evolutions, Volumes 2, complete Fractures, and more. Build up blocks. Everything is kind of unchanged at the moment. The guys will continue as are. They will continue to share YouTube and podcast feed for their reviews, interviews, and analyses. So, with that, I'm going to close out the show because we've been going for a hot minute. Oh, it's a nice little show. What do we got? 1 hour and a bit? Sorry. Thank you all for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the live show format, guys. These are actually kind of fun to do. It gives me an excuse to go to Discord and see what I don't know is going on. The pictures are fucking crazy. Don't understand. I don't know who anyone is, but it's fun. So I'm going to thank you guys for joining us again for that. Like always, you can find all of our episodes on our website. Go check it out, halopodcast.com. Bunch of merch. This Discord service, Facebook group, Patreon page for us, our support. Thank you very much. And if you want to leave us a voicemail, maybe with some more content other than I'll ring you back and, hello, you can reach out to us at 205-EVOLVED, which is the crazy American number that goes 205-386-5833. I have no idea how I would even call that number.
You just put the numbers on in your phone.
You just put a 1 in front of that number.
No, there's got to be more to it.
Ask the pseudo, he did it.
With that, I have been your host, David, and until next time, evolved.
Evolved.